maybe leans more this way, another guy leans more that way, and I try to put the two together to get a combination. Just like you're mixing paint, I guess.
Yeah. There are a lot of musicians that will play more technical, and a lot of musicians will play more with feeling.
Yeah.
So what do you call yourself? Do you call yourself more of a technical player or more of a feeling player?
I would say I would apply the same concept. I really try to do both. Obviously, edit. So when you edit, I think, one of the things, getting back to the arranging and the composition stuff, Bud Murphy used to say he always used to look for what to take out of an arrangement. I always looked for what to take out of a solo. But I do like some technical things because they're interesting. So I would say the same thing. I try to combine the two, but I would say musicality and taste would be paramount. And the problem that I think I'll hear or see a lot of times of certain performances is there are too many notes, and there is too much a showy display of technique. Now, that's okay on certain pieces, but when it's throughout the whole concert, I think, geez, it was overkill. It's like hot sauce on everything, too much salt on everything, I think it's a taste, it's just like if you're going to put a tuxedo on, you probably wouldn't wear brown shoes, Yeah, so it's just one of those things where a lot of times you hear people play and you go, well, gosh, some editing would be nice, and we know you can play. You don't have to prove it every bar.
Do you do a lot of improvising?
Yeah, basically on the if it's a set thing like a large band, there's a solo, or if it's a small band, especially the small band, when you've done the melody, basically your time for soloing, it's all improvised. Each solo is different, and it's funny a lot of times. Somebody will overdub a solo. Maybe you're hired to do that, and you'll do 3 different solos, and someone says, "Oh, I like take 1." Someone says, "Oh, I like take 3," or "I like take 2." And it's the same thing if you wrote an arrangement. I think improvising is kind of like composing on the spot, and then composition is kind of like improvising with the pencil, so they both have their parallels. And actually, I don't use an instrument when I write. I either use pencil and paper, or I use the computer, which is like virtual, manuscript paper, because you're doing it on the computer, but it's like pencil and paper, really.
Mm-hmm.
And, I think what happens is, each one has its, uniqueness about it, but there is a parallel,
Right. Do you believe that various styles of music affect your style?
Yeah, I think, as we were talking before, when someone plays like the traditional jazz music, which is very important, the roots of it, back to the 20s, back to the original swing, the original... They always want to say Dixieland. Some of it is Dixieland, others is just traditional old jazz, and it's the roots of it, the beginning, and then it's become kind of like a swing type thing, they called it, and then a bebop, and then modern and all that. But it would be a lot different if somebody from the 20s was playing today, because I think the other music does influence you. There's rhythms, there's, back those days nobody played a bossa nova much, things like that. So I would say it does affect the level of playing, and so I think the passage of time and the different styles that have come along will certainly affect someone.
So we were talking also about music in the schools.
Yes.
How it would be great if there was more funding so we get more of the professional musicians to come in and deal with the kids. I found the other day that a lot of them do not know about, like you were bringing up before, about the history.
No.
And that's what Ali was telling them. Say, well, you got to listen to those great masters.
Yeah.
And keep listening. And listening is the key. But maybe one day we'll have. Have you been into schools at any time?
A little bit. I've been doing a little thing at the Burbank High School. It's really a donation thing at this point, but it's good for them and it's good for me. Basically what I'm doing is just the same thing you were talking about, just getting people to be involved, getting exposed to it. A lot of times here in LA there's no budget for that. but I still feel like it's important, and they've asked me to do it, so I'm more than happy to do it. To me, it's difficult because the young people aren't being exposed, especially to the roots of it, so they have no idea what you're playing or talking about sometimes.
Right, right. What inspires you today as far as musically?
Well, I think all the players do. I hear a lot of the young players. I like what they do, and there's a lot of new young talent that is bringing in a younger audience, which is good. I think with all the negatives we always talk about, everybody says, oh, the music business, but I think what happens is there are new opportunities that come about. I remember I got a call for a gig on a Sunday that was starting Monday, and I'm still there. I'm there like several days a week, and it's 12 years later. So a lot of times a call or something will open up that you never thought about. So there's new opportunities, and I think, it's always good to be positive and always good to listen and learn new things.
Right, right. We did have a bright rising star in Esperanza Spalding winning the award. That was the Grammy, right?
Right, exactly.
Best new artist,
Yes.
And she is quite a talent too. She is quite a talent. I think she also teaches